All right, welcome back to Talking Trades with Thomas. My name is Lance, and I'll be your host this afternoon. To my left is our usual, my co-host and president, Byron Hubbard. Over here we have Brittany, our lovely sales coordinator, and our guest today is Chris with Coltus Roofing and Construction. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me this morning.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being here.
It's a nice setup you have here.
Thank you. We put a little bit of work into it. It looks pretty good.
The room definitely looks better than it did when we first got here.
Yeah, I think I just like this luxurious table, honestly. It's nice.
Yeah, the chairs are pretty comfortable as well.
Heck yeah.
It's nice.
You said most of your work's residential. You do some light commercial.
That's correct. You know.
The residential work, on the roofing side of it, is it more referral based? Is it more insurance claim?
I'd say our business primarily is probably more about 60% insurance, 40% customer. Based where a customer just finds us online. Retail is what we call that.
Mm-hmm.
But we do probably about 60% of insurance claims.
Do y'all have? Does insurance companies refer you guys, or
We get some of that. We in the Southern Tennessee market, we've got a couple of insurance agents there. We've got some in North Alabama. One of the things that's helped us out a lot is the real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially back when everything was going crazy. You know, they were selling houses. You know, we'd get a frantic call. Hey, we need an estimate. You know, on this and that. You know, we've got a closing that's relying on this. We had one of those yesterday, as a matter of fact, in Madison. So we take business any way we can get it. But it's about relationships. Just like when Lance called me, I told him, I said, I think this is a very good thing.
Absolutely.
You know, for a small business like us, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we're still growing. If you get your name out there and let people know who you are and what you do, it's not their fault if they don't call you, if they don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta get your name out there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're glad to have you on. And plus, we'd like to have local companies and anybody in the skilled trades
Right,
area.
right.
You know, this is the trades podcast, so we love all that stuff. So.
Yeah, that was one of the drivers. Like I said, one of the reasons I wanted to start this thing. You know, because we do get a bad rap as tradespeople.
Yeah.
You know, but you know.
What's the bad rap?
Well, I think you have a few bad apples. I mean, I think it was more common, 10 or 15 years ago, where people trying to rip people off,
Gotcha.
that type of thing.
Gotcha.
You know, you see the things on the news, you know, but I want our consumers to know we're normal human beings, you know.
Absolutely,
we're trying to make an honest living and offer, a great customer experience. And
Absolutely.
so, but
It's expensive to do business in it.
it is expensive to do
It
business.
is, yeah.
That leads my next question. You know, I know we pay a lot in insurance, and the more and more we grow, the more that cost is. And I know in your line of work, it's probably even more than what we have to pay in insurance.
Yeah. The workman's comp, it's a dangerous job. It's a very dangerous, so. But the biggest thing in our business, we carry workman's comp, we carry general liability, we're bonded. But not all of our competition is. So when we show up on a job, we've got a certain amount of overhead that we've got to overcome. And I don't know if you run into that in your business or not.
Oh yeah.
But we do. It's like a guy down in South Carolina that's got a big roofing business. He calls them a chuck in a truck. You can start this business with $500. If you're not carrying insurance, and some of our customers, they don't even ask about insurance. And then if you bring it up, they're like, "Well, I'm not concerned about that," but you should be.
You're not concerned about it now until something happens. Yeah.
Until the phone calls start happening.
Well, that chuck in the truck will throw that roof on and have a leak and ruin everything inside, and they're going to want to put it on that homeowner, and the mistake made by that person, they're not wanting. They won't take care of it.
The only warranty you get with those folks is a rear view mirror warranty.
Yeah.
When they can no longer see your house,
It's gone.
we do our best. We do our best to take care of the customer. If we make a mistake, they call us up. we go back out there and we make it right. And when you work a lot of guys, and you all have a lot more guys than we have, but we have several. They're human. They are going to make a mistake. But if the customer will let us know, we'll take care of it.
And that's all that's really important, honestly.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
How many guys do you have in your team right now?
Well, I have multiple crews, okay? I have like 3 asphalt crews and 1 metal crew.
Okay.
Some of our stuff we do in-house, like if you have a small one shingle repair or something, I'm not going to bring a crew out for that.
Mm-hmm.
I send my project manager out, and who is an estimator as well. See, we're still small enough that when my guys sell a roof, they also project manage that roof, if that makes sense. And I'm not sure that's the exact right way to do it. I've got some competition that are much larger than we are, and they have a sales guy, and then he sells it and gets you signed up, and then he hands it off to a project manager. I haven't done that yet. I don't feel good about that where I'm at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
My thought is if I sell you something, if at all possible, I need to project manage that, and I need to be the point of contact until the end. From the beginning of the sale to the end of the sale, because the customer may not want to deal with 3 or 4 different guys. I don't know how much longer we can do that, but that's what we're doing right now, and it's worked for us. But as we continue to grow, I'm not sure if we can continue to do that.
That's the exciting part about business,
Yeah,
expanding.
it's a little scary.
You gotta do risks,
Yeah. And I'm
Do
talking to
risks,
different
take
business
risks.
owners and getting their take on it as well.
Awesome.
When it comes to the heating and cooling industry, weather is one of our biggest drivers. Is it the same for you guys?
Yes, when you hear 2 or 3 inches of rain, you can believe the phones are going to ring.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the winds get up real strong, you have trees that fall over. We get a lot of those calls.
A lot of hail damage.
Yeah, hail damage. We had one here in 17 in Readingville.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure
Yeah.
y'all remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But we get more wind and just heavy rain. We get more calls from that than
Yeah.
hail.
Now, I'm not too familiar on a lot of the roofing stuff and insurance, so I figured if a tree fell over onto the house, like
Yeah.
that's usually like the renter's insurance or the rental insurance. How does roofing play into that? Like how does that happen? How do you go about fixing that roof for that client?
Yeah, if that tree falls on that house, obviously, they're going to have, more than likely, have shingle damage, some framing damage, interior damage. Being home builders, as we are here in the state of Alabama, we can handle those claims. Sometimes a customer wants us to handle every bit of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, hey, I've got a contractor. I just need you to take care of the roofing part of it. But a lot of times, the customer will call us and they've not filed a claim yet, and we'll go out and we'll look at it. And I always try to get them to get the adjuster to come on out and look at it, and we'll run our estimate on Xactimate, and he'll run his, and then we'll meet somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
On the insurance claims.
So y'all can do roofing, all that, or framing and
Absolutely, that's where I started, is framing. I've got a lot of experience on the carpentry side of things. We don't get into heating and cooling. We call you for that.
Okay.
Or plumbing or electrical. We have guys that work for us that do plumbing and electrical. If we could, we would just stay in our lane and just do strictly re-roofs. That's what we would love to do. But that's not the reality. We may be building a deck today and roofing 2 or 3 houses, and then tomorrow we may be putting vinyl siding on.
Yeah.
Or gutters.
Are you in the new construction world?
Very little. Very little. 2008, I was in new construction then, and ever since then, I do very little new construction. I'd say less than 5%.
Yeah. We do a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
It would probably be
Yeah.
35-40% of our business,
Does new construction play into? Sorry, let me start over. I was doing some research on frequently asked questions for roofers and stuff, getting ready for this podcast, and I noticed some roofing companies, they work hand in hand with HVAC guys, and that's usually on corporate builds, like bigger flat roofings and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with that, like working hand in hand with the HVAC guys?
I've had some electrical contractors here in Huntsville, one of the bigger ones, that has called us in. Maybe there's been a mishap with some of their guys, maybe stepping through a ceiling or maybe damaging a roof or something, trying to put a vent in.
Yeah.
They've called us out, not really on the HVAC side of things. I cross paths with them sometimes in attics. A customer thinks they have a leak that's from the roof, or they think they have a roof or a leak from the HVAC, and it's somewhere in the middle. It could be plumbing.
Yeah.
I don't cross paths with them a lot on the HVAC side.
Okay.
I see your trucks everywhere. You know.
That's staged. We just do that.
Yeah,
Just drive up and down.
Yeah. We want to start networking more here in 23. I think it would really help us out a lot.
Absolutely.
You know.
You guys part of a B&I?
I'm not. I've been invited a couple of times, and I was telling Byron there that I was so busy I just couldn't make time for it, and I regret it so much because it was going to be a good one, I think.
You got a guy you trust? Send your guy out there.
I do.
Yeah.
I have a couple of them, and that's probably what I'm going to have to do. That's what I was talking to him about. Is sometimes a business owner, you think you can do things better, and really you're not doing things better. You're actually holding yourself back.
Well, yeah. The
And I
business
think that's
owner,
the trap that I've gotten into.
absolutely. Your particular set of skills are,
Right,
and, and management. So doing all those other
Yeah,
hand
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
You always think you can do things better than someone else, but in reality, that's not the case. You just have to get out of the way, and I'm trying to do that.
Did you hear that, Byron?
Oh, it's tough. it was tough for me to make the transition I made last July. You know.
Yeah.
You're talking about having to give away your tools so you don't work anymore?
Yeah. It's tough. It seemed very easy for Bo though. He stepped right on.
Delegating is something.
Traded it for a 9-iron,
Yeah. He made the transition pretty smooth.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the delegating thing is something I struggle with.
Yeah, it was a struggle for me too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something. It's just something you have to do.
Right.
You know, you have to depend and trust on other
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and you know, it sounds like to get to where you're going, that's some steps you're probably going to have to
Right.
make.
Right.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
Brittany, do you live in a house or an apartment, or where do you live at?
Yeah, my husband and I, we just purchased our home last February.
Heck yeah. How's the roof of your house?
Good. But I might need a business card.
Okay, good. I just wanted to ask. I wasn't sure how that worked, renting houses and stuff. I know usually the homeowner takes care of all that stuff, but,
Yeah.
I just thought I'd ask.
We have property managers here in Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
One of them that we work with quite a bit. I've only spoken to him a time or two. My office manager handles that,
Yeah.
and one of our sales guys primarily handles that. And as you know, in Huntsville, there are people from all over the country that own property here.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get a service call, and they'll say, "Hey, go out and look at this and report back to us." And it may be a $250 repair. It could be a $15,000 roof.
Mm-hmm.
We just treat them all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so we enjoy that. I don't know how many other roofers they have on call, but we try to be very responsive when they contact us.
Absolutely. I mean, with a lot of competition, you kind of have to be,
And there's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
In the field.
And you said you had a metal crew, so you do metal roofing?
We do primarily the exposed fastener metal roofs. Okay, primarily we've got some guys that can do the standing seam, and we may get off into a little bit more of that here this year. But primarily it's residential, and it's the exposed fastener metal roofing. that we put on.
On your website, it talks about roofing or roof maintenance. Can you go into a little depth about that? Or what all that entails?
I strongly recommend that homeowners have someone look at their roof, somebody reputable, once a year.
Mm-hmm.
You
See,
might.
I'd have never thought that.
I didn't think
Yeah.
anything about
Yeah.
that either.
Yeah. We'll come out and actually, I had a State Farm agent here in town, and then a customer in the same week approached me about that. Why don't you offer a yearly maintenance? We'd be willing to pay for it, is what the customer said. So we're going to start that as well. I don't know, maybe a one-story house, maybe $79 or something to come out,
Absolutely.
crawl
Yeah.
around your roof, and with that, we're not going to make any money on that, but we're going to gain possibly a customer in the
Mhm.
future. Your pipe boots, sometimes they'll start leaking on you, have exposed nails. If you could spend, less than $100 and save yourself possibly thousands in the future.
That's what I was
think it'd be
thinking
worth
too.
it,
Like it's $80 a year or whatever it is for your maintenance,
Right,
and
right.
because I'm assuming mold and stuff can grow over time and and just get worse. And so if you have a guy out there that notices it, hey,
Yeah.
this is going to be a huge problem, you don't take care of that sooner. That's
Yeah.
very beneficial to the customer.
Yeah.
So
We're probably the last roofing company in Huntsville to condemn a roof. We want you to get as much out of that roof as possible.
mm-hmm.
You know, I told a customer the other day, I said, I'm probably a terrible salesperson. It was yesterday in Madison. She had a roof that didn't need to be replaced. It just needed to be repaired for a few $100. You know, and as you know, as a salesperson, you're like, wow, man, how are you going to make a living? Well, if you'll treat people the right way, they will remember you, and they will tell their coworkers and their family about you.
Absolutely.
And it'll pay off. It may take a while.
Yeah.
You know, we've got multiple trucks on the road, and it's expensive to have those worked on, as I'm sure you know. But when I find a good mechanic, and I have one, I trust him. You know, he's not going to tell me something that's not right. So, you know, if it says it's $2,000 or $200, I just say, okay, fix it.
He said, yeah, you know, he must have saw my crappy car coming in here.
We've had some issues with supply chains, I guess, over the last 2 years, however long the COVID stuff's been going on. Does it hurt you any?
Yeah, because there for several months, you only had maybe 5 to 7 colors you could get on a roof. And primarily what they were manufacturing was weatherwood and black.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that's primarily because the track builders were using weatherwood and black or charcoal.
Yeah.
You know, some of your, you know, better colors, I say better colors, Pancho colors, you just couldn't get them. They just were not manufacturing them. You know, we're a GAF certified contractor, so that's what we push primarily. We can put anything on, but we can offer the best warranty with them.
Mm-hmm.
So when we bid a roof for you, we start out with GAF. And then if you say, hey, I want something else, we'll sell you whatever you want. We'll warranty it. But we can give you the best warranty with GAF. So they were having issues just like everyone else. They were only manufacturing certain colors.
Has it gotten better?
It has gotten some better. I bid a roof yesterday. It was a hunter green. And several months ago, I don't even think you could have got that color. Really, really dark green color.
I think I saw in our questions we wanted to talk about supply and demand, right, or supply chain issues, right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing has been there for several months. Every month, or probably every 2 or 3 months, we get an email with a price increase.
Mm-hmm.
Just, 8 to 12%.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you all saw something similar. Shingle costs have come down some in the last couple of months. They're still really high, but they have come down.
Yeah, that's one thing with our industry. We get a price increase, it never goes down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It never goes down.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen whether it's insulation, you know, metal or equipment, it's average, and we would have 3 to 4 of them, probably want a quarter.
Yeah.
And it would range from 8 to 12%
Yeah.
across the board. And you're talking, you know, close to 50% price increases for a 12-month span. It's nuts.
And then the fuel prices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You add all that together. You're trying to keep your prices down. We've not had very much kickback from our customers. They've been really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But we have had to increase our prices. Our bottom line hasn't really changed. We've just tried to go up whatever. If the shingles went up $12 a square, we just add $12 a square to that. We don't make anything more on the labor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's something I think, you know, the sales coordinator probably could, you know,
Right.
relay to these people like, hey,
Yeah.
like we are an honest company. Like we're only charging a little bit more when we're buying for a lot more. So, you know, but with that being said, do you have any, before we get any further on like informational, educational, do you have any crazy stories, like crazy roofing stories? Like what's the craziest experience you have?
You should have told me. I wish you'd gave me some warning on that. You know, I do have a crazy roofing story, and you talked about the residential versus commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try not to call the guy's name. He's a great guy here in town. He had a commercial building, and we actually did some work on his building over in Harvest. And we worked on the back side of it, not the front side.
Yeah.
And after we had done that, it just so happened that we had a really, really heavy rain. And the guy called me just in a panic. Hey, one of my tenants, the front of their office is flooding. And I said, we didn't touch the front of the building. He said, well, I didn't think you did. I said, no, we didn't. I said, we were probably 60 or 70 feet away. But I did what I normally do. I mean, I ran over. I didn't panic, but I ran over there, climbed up on the ladder, and it was a commercial building, of course, low slope. And someone had tossed something up on the roof, and it washed over in the gutter and stopped up the downspout. And I'm over there in the pouring rain, and I found it. And when I pulled that, it was like a little plastic ball about that big around. And the water that was in the gutter is probably 100 and something feet long, just rushed out the downspout. And that's what it was. So it was a sigh of relief on my part.
Yeah.
But it was panic, sheer panic when I got the phone call.
Absolutely.
So we've had, that's happened on a roof that we worked on, which we didn't have anything to do with that ball being up there. But I had a church a few years ago call me, and I'd never been there before, and they had flooding, and it was a downspout that was stopped up.
Again, the downspout.
Yeah. It ran out to the street, and it stopped up and flooded the foyer of the church.
Yeah. Well, I've got some stories I won't get into.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I asked. I want to open up, Larry.
Some of these leaks.
We can have that discussion off camera.
Yeah.
I have grabbed a couple snakes before.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about roofing on the top. I've got a sibling of mine, and I'll try not to call his name because he may watch this. He had sold a home. He was flipping homes here in Huntsville, and he had sold a home down in South Huntsville there on the golf course. And they wrote up a little report, things they wanted done. And I'm always cautious when I go under a home, for what may be there. This was in an attic, and I'm there by myself there, and I lower the pull downstairs, and I climb up. And the attic, I remember thinking to myself, well, the attic's clean. There's a couple pieces of baseboard up there, and some plywood. I thought, this is nice. And I was looking for some damage on the fascia on the back left corner. Pitch dark in there, and I've got my little flashlight, and I'm crawling towards the end of the house, and I'm cutting my light on and cutting it off. And I came probably about from me to you to about a 4-foot snake. and I didn't hear anything, and I've got pictures of it on my phone, by the way. I didn't hear anything. I just happened to click my light on, and I turned. I was on my hands and knees, and he was coiled up like this, a big old chicken snake.
Oh, that's
I backed right back out of the attic, closed that.
I would have sold the
before you
house.
took pictures, though. Yeah.
I took pictures.
I'm terrified of snakes. I've quit here twice because of them.
Yeah. Well, I called him.
Yeah, I would sell the house. I can't do
I
that.
called my sibling, and I told him, I said, I found your mascot. He said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, he's about 3.5 to 4 feet long. He said, where at? And I told him, what'd you do with it? And I said, I left him alone. That wasn't part of my job description.
Close it up. Everything's good to go up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't mess around with those things.
I mean, that was
Poisonous, not poisonous. It don't matter.
Yeah, I didn't stick around. I studied the pictures, just a big chicken snake or red snake or something. You see some things.
Yeah.
What's the biggest involvement the roofing industry's seen over the last 10 years?
Well, here recently, in the last few years, the roofing industry on the shingle side, they're going in and they're putting these enhanced nailing strips on these shingles. I don't know if you've noticed it. You probably don't look for it, but if you've driven around town, you have these real nice homes, steep roofs, you'll see the shingles sliding off the roof. And that's caused by one of two things, if not both. The guys are nailing the shingles too high. There's a strip there that you're supposed to nail to. If they nail too high, or if their compressor is set too strong, the pressure of it, it'll blow the nail right through it. And you may not realize it until years down the road, and that shingle starts to separate on the architectural shingles. The manufacturers have tried to combat that. We've been in neighborhoods, and insurance won't cover it most of the time. It's installer error. So you've got somebody that's got a roof that's 5 years old that looks great, other than the fact that the shingles are sliding off. And then you're over there, fixing it for them, and they're wanting to call the insurance company, and you're telling them, hey, they're not going to cover it. You don't want that claim on your record.
Yeah.
We put 6 nails in every shingle, and my guys, I know they get tired of seeing me, but when I sell a roof, I'm the owner, but when I sell a roof, it's my job to watch over that roof. And I go out there and I check their nailing patterns. And they may not like it, but I do it anyway.
The customer sure likes that, I'm sure.
Because I'm the one that may get the phone call at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, you're going to get the phone call.
You're going to get the phone call. And I've got those guys trained pretty well. They know. We're roofing a mansard style roof today. It's not very big, but one of my guys has got it going on, and over in Madison. And with those, if you put an architectural roof on, they want you to nail it a certain way, but they also want you to put sealant on every shingle. It's hard to get a guy to do that, a crew.
I believe
You know,
it.
they don't want to take the time to do it, and you have to just sit there with them to ensure that they do it.
Speaking of crews, what's your process for investing in new employees, and what's your turnover rate like?
I'd say our turnover rate, we're small as far as our staff in the office, but I've got multiple crews out in the field.
Sure.
You know, I'd say our turnover rate in the office is probably around 20%, maybe a little more.
That's great.
Because we didn't have that many people, and then I lost one. He had a better opportunity with the state, and I told him, I said, you need to go. I mean, young man fixing to get married. They had really, really good benefits.
Sound like a great
And I
boss.
told him, I
Chris.
said, man, you need to go. You need to go. But yeah.
I'm just glad you were like, you know, there's plenty of wives out there. You want to be here, thinking about your future.
No, this guy's really, really good guy. A great opportunity for him. Great
Awesome.
opportunity. Yeah.
Good.
Those metal roofs cost more than asphalt shingles?
Yeah, the metal, you know, is something that the price has not really come back down much. Of course, shingles has come down a little bit, but the metal to me has not been like OSB or wood has been. You know, OSB was really, really high, and it came down, and it kind of goes up and it comes down. With metal, it went up, but it didn't come down very much, and our nails have not really come down very much. But where it gets you with metal is you've got all your trim pieces. You're looking at 15 to 20% for the trim pieces, in addition to what the metal costs. But it's a different skill set to put a metal roof on.
Yeah.
A different skill set. I priced one yesterday. I've not heard back from the customer, but it was about $4,000 more for the same roof in metal versus shingles.
Shingles.
Is there a pretty good return of investment on that?
Well, on a roof in general, they say about 60%, just on a roof in general. Return on investment.
Is there what are the benefits of like having shingles versus a metal roof?
Metal's got about a 70-year lifespan. But the
Okay.
issue with that is the screws and the grommet that the screw goes
The
down.
gasket.
The
Yeah.
gasket. You know, a lot of them are made out of silicone now. But with the rubber gasket or grommet or whatever, the sun degrades it like anything else.
Dry rots.
Exactly, and then the screws start working their ways back up through the metal due to expansion and contraction.
Yeah.
Could start leaking also, I
It
guess.
will start leaking. Yes, it will start leaking.
Does silicone prevent that?
You know, we have customers that do that. They'll go in and they'll try to find a screw and take it out and put another screw in and silicone it. You can stop it, but I don't recommend you getting on a metal roof. They're dangerous, very dangerous.
Yeah, I don't want to get on any roof.
Yeah, they're very, very dangerous.
So I got a drone for it. No, I just sent my drone up there.
We
What's
use
up
drones.
there?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
use drones. We sure do.
You got a drone guy, or you guys just do it yourself?
We do it in-house.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we've got a couple of guys, actually 3 guys that can do it, and our customers get a kick out of it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. We had an older gentleman on the side of the mountain that had a beautiful home, and the drone that the guy was using did not have that obstacle avoidance on it. That drone didn't last long.
Oh,
He was wanting my guy to check his gutter guards to make sure the guys had put them on right.
I've
Flew
wrecked
it
a few
right-
myself, yep.
Flew it right into a tree. And yep.
I would have drug tested. No.
Well, you know, it's and the good part.
Well,
of
if
the
you
story-
paid for the drone, yeah. Yeah.
The best part of the story was the guys who put the gutter guards back on correctly. That was a plus.
Well, there you go.
You know, it's very high off the ground, very steep, and yeah, it took a couple weeks to get the drone back. And had to ship it off.
Oh, get it repaired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we run into a lot of adjusters now that are doing that. You know, I had one lady tell me, she said, I've fallen once and I'm not falling again.
Yeah.
You know, so she went out to her trunk and got her drone out and just flew it around. If you can minimize the opportunity to get hurt, it's better.
Absolutely.
You know,
So she fell off the roof once.
She had fallen off the roof before, yeah.
And said she didn't want to do it
She wasn't
again.
going to do it again. She would
She's
not
lucky she has a chance to say she don't want to do it
she
again.
said, I'm not, and I didn't blame her. She got all the pictures that she needed with the drone. It really worked well. I'd say probably 25% of the roofs that we do, we never step foot on them, physically on them until we actually do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we may climb up the ladder, check the layers of shingles, what kind of decking it has,
Get a little look.
and this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you know. But we use satellite imagery to measure our roofs now.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, we do that some on
Yeah.
commercial buildings, seeing how far the unit is from the side of the building
Yeah.
for the crane pitch. We got to use a crane to put it on.
How do you do that? Google Earth?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't even know that was available.
Yeah.
It's wild.
They've got programs now through GAF, and of course we use Eagle View as well. And my guys do it in-house. I mean, the younger guys, you know, they can do anything on the computer. But you can go in and you know, I can tell you how long that ridge is or how long that valley is
Mm-hmm.
just off satellite imagery. So you're not up there pulling tape anymore. It's not
Yeah.
like it used to be. But
Lot
time is
safer.
money.
Yeah.
You know?
You guys get beat up by home inspectors a lot?
Not too bad. We actually make money with home inspectors a lot of times because when they're calling us out, someone's got a house for sale
Mhm.
or they're purchasing one. So we don't really have too much trouble with them.
Yeah.
They're all different though, you know. You know, one guy may find something here, and the next guy may overlook it. You know.
Yeah.
So
You said you don't do a lot of new construction, or
not very much.
did you plan on getting a little more into that, or
You know,
what
I've
are your
been
goals for
approached
that?
by some of the bigger track builders in the last couple of years, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they need anybody right now. I think it has slowed down a little.
It has slowed down quite a
It might be a
bit.
good time to talk to some of them.
Yeah.
First quarter is kind of slow
Mhm.
in that world. They spend a lot of time the end of the year trying to finish up what they have
Yeah.
to meet budgets and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
The profit margin is typically a lot smaller.
It
for
is,
us.
and it ain't typically it is.
Yeah, and I've run the numbers on it, and some of my competition that I know, and I know why they're doing it because I've run the numbers. I know the numbers just like they do as far as what the shingles cost, what the labor cost, and the insurance. And I've kind of weighed the cost. Would it be worth having two men to constantly be quality control? And I think it would, you know. But you know, if you're staying busy in the re-roofing market, there's a lot more money there.
Yeah.
And my crews prefer
Yeah.
to do the re-roofing. You know, it's harder work, but they make a lot more money.
Yeah.
It is
Absolutely.
something I have considered
Okay, yeah, I just wanted
a
to
lot. Yeah.
see what your plans for expansion was here in
Yeah,
the next few years.
Yeah. So, BNI, are you all doing a lot of? You got guys in a lot of BNI meetings, or
Yeah, we got
We
a few
have-
guys.
really?
A couple.
Yeah.
Is it really as good as they say it is? I mean, is it working out pretty good?
Yeah, we get some referral work from it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're building relationships regardless.
Right.
Mhm.
You know.
Networking.
Yeah.
You know, some guy you may never talk to in your BNI,
Yeah.
you know, his brother needs air conditioning, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
calls and asks him, hey, who do you recommend? You know, just it's little stuff like that.
Does it
Yeah.
take up a lot of your time?
I mean, I don't know. I know how it used to be. I don't know how it is now, but I think there's a one-to-one once a week or twice a week.
I think it's like 2, maybe 3 hours a week. You usually go like for an hour, like one day a week. You know, have the general meeting, and then you'll have like a 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 with a few other people that are involved in the BNI. But it's not too much time,
I
honestly.
don't think it is.
I think it helps out. Like if you don't, for me, I don't know anything about roofing, or like I wouldn't know who to call.
Yeah.
When I start making phone calls, to me, they're gonna get somebody who's like crazy corporate and big,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna get a guy who answers the phone like, "Hello."
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, is this John with John Roofing? Oh, yeah, I do roofing. Like,
Yeah.
so it's a good middle ground to find
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
trustworthy,
Yeah.
but also certified and responsible, but not
Right.
who's crazy conglomerate. They're crazy corporate.
Yeah. I look at some of these bigger guys in town, not necessarily the HVAC guys, but some of the bigger plumbing guys and electrical guys, and I'm amazed at how responsive they are. You know, and some people don't use them because they're like, well, they're too high. But my experience has been when I've needed someone's answered a phone call, they have communicated with you throughout the entire process, and then when a guy shows up, he's presentable.
Absolutely.
All of those things are pretty important. But their rates are not that bad. You know, we had just built a new home and just moved in about a year ago. My plumber's a super good guy, but we put in one of those Nevion tankless water heaters, you know. And when he installed it, I didn't know anything about it. When he installed it, it would work periodically, then it'd quit. and he didn't really know what was going on, and I sure didn't know what was going on. I was trying to inspect it, so I called one of the big companies here in Huntsville. They sent a guy out, and for $69, he made the trip from around Madison to Ardmore, which I thought was plenty fair.
Yeah.
And then he found out what the issue was. I wound up like $130-something in that. Even though it was very simple, it was very, very simple, the problem with the unit.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just don't know how they make money like that. We don't go out for $130-something. I mean, if we're going to go climb on your roof, typically our minimum is about $350.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we don't do anything less than that, but typically, if we're going to get on your roof, it's real steep, it's high, and do anything, it's probably going to be around $350 or more.
I don't even roof. That's what I would charge just to be on a roof. Like, you don't go on roofs. I'd charge that much just to be up there. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but we've done a ton of situations like that, myself and some of my guys too, to where if it's an older person or something like that, we don't charge them anything. If it's something very simple, I was on the one in South Huntsville roof a couple weeks ago, and the guy just needed his flashing touched up. I was already there. I mean, I had several more stops, and I went out to the truck, sealed it, and told him, hey, no charge. Hope this takes care of it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything from him, so I assume it did. But
How are you doing with your SEO and like your reviews? Like, do you, whenever you leave a job and it's really good, do you send out reviews right away? Like, hey, is this up on Google?
Yeah, but we have a fair amount of customers that are very happy with us. They tell us they're happy, but they don't leave reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And
we get that a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people that have approached me and said, hey, can I leave you a review somewhere? And then I'm anticipating it and it doesn't happen. But we've got it set up on our cell phones through the BBB.
Okay.
To where we can just text the homeowner, and then it gives them an opportunity to go BBB or the Google, and I don't know what else. It's probably 3 or 4 different choices that they have.
Yeah, I mean, y'all may see 5 people in a day, 10 max,
Yeah.
maybe. We're seeing 30 to 50, wouldn't you say?
Right.
And we may get one to leave us a review. It's hard to do.
But if you do something to upset them,
That's definitely coming.
Those are quick reviews.
Yeah.
we do our
Within a
best.
second, yeah.
We do our best to try to take care of people. You just
Yeah,
can't
and
please everyone.
sometimes that's just not enough either. You're going to have those that you're just never going to make happy, unfortunately, regardless of what you do.
Right, exactly. You're exactly right. But that's what we do on that. As far as SEO, with our website designer, they're doing a few little things, but we really don't do a lot. We advertise in a coupon in Huntsville. We've done that for several years, and it's paid us back over and over again. We had advertised on the radio a couple of years ago, but I don't think we were big enough to really, for that, I don't think we were ready for branding at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was warned about that before I did it.
Well, we've had plenty of talks about our advertisement, and radio doesn't seem like it's hitting our ROI like we want it to be, so certain aspects do better, it's all on the internet these days, man. We found out the internet is
I
so
believe that.
helpful for us, so.
I believe that. I really do. And they say the YouTube videos, I guess you all are doing those as well. I mean, did you say
Yeah,
something?
we put these on our YouTube and
Yeah.
on Spotify podcast. Yeah, we
Yeah.
try to make sure we have as many, working hands as possible just to educate, just the general people and let them know.
You're doing all the social media stuff too.
Yeah, we
TikTok,
do.
Amazon,
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We try to make sure. Yeah, we're HVAC, so it's not like we're throwing parties and having the funniest videos all the time. But we try to make sure that we show that we're honest and we're fun and we're just general people. I mean, we're getting bigger as a company, but we're also human and we'll treat you right if you just come follow us on Instagram.
I think you've done 2 really good videos, and that was the blooper reel.
Cool.
Spaghetti.
and the Christmas.
Oh, the
song.
Mariah Carey.
Ah, yes.
That was good. I enjoyed both of those.
Anything I have to twist my coworker's arms to do, he ends up usually being really well. So.
Yeah, it was awful. And then when I seen it posted, I'm just in the beginning of it like, I was like, what are you? Okay, Lance, thanks.
So we're about the 45-minute mark here. You want to do one more question, and then we'll go ahead and have you talk about any deals, specials, things you have coming up for your company, okay?
Yeah.
What's the last thing you want to talk about, Brian?
I think I went over all my stuff.
Let me double check my notes. We had so many. Let's see here.
I actually have a question for
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Oh,
That
perfect.
maintenance that you were talking
Right.
about, is there a specific time of the year that you would recommend to do that? Like we do ours in spring and fall.
Yeah, I
For
would say the
tune-ups.
best time to do it for the roofing is early spring. You know, because
Mhm.
you know we got the storms rolling in. You may have a situation where you've got a nail pop on the roof. It may not be just a few years old. If you don't get to that, it could cause a leak. And
Yeah.
a very small leak can cost a lot of money.
So early
Absolutely.
spring.
Early spring would be best. Any time is good, but early spring would be best. You know, I don't want to get everybody booked up for early spring, but that's what I would say.
Let us know. We'll start pushing the word out.
Yeah, yeah. But your flashing, your pipe boots where your plumbing flanges go through the roof or your plumbing pipes go through the roof. Around your dormers, around your chimneys, a lot of brick chimneys, those are areas that leak. Skylights, any
Cool.
penetration in a
Yeah.
roof. Yeah.
I would have never dawned on me to do roof maintenance
Yeah.
or to have it checked.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can catch that leak, you know, if you can catch it before it leaks, that's great. But if it's got a real small stain on the ceiling, get someone up there to look at it and head it off at the pass because you don't want to come home and have part of your ceiling collapsed. That's a little bit extreme, but we have seen it happen.
Oh, I've seen it happen. My sister had it happen in Fort Lewis, Washington.
Yeah.
She was like one of those stacked homes or whatever, and she came home one day and her whole kitchen was just caved in and everything was just,
Yeah.
it was wild to see.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. And the ceiling's not that big of a deal, but when you've got nice hardwood floors, you know, that can get really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really expensive.
Well, awesome. All right. Well, right here in this camera, this is your camera. Go ahead and tell us about any specials, deals you got coming up, where you can
Well-
find you online, and how to get a hold of you, and all that good
You
jazz.
can find us at coltusroofing.com. You can call us at 256-534-5325. The specials that we run primarily with our coupons, we run 10% off up to $500 on any complete job, basically any job. It can be a repair.
Mm.
You know, we'll give 10% off of that. And like I said, we're advertising in certain areas of Huntsville with a coupon booklet. People still use those coupon booklets.
Oh, yeah.
by the way. I don't know if you all do that,
I
but
think we did a couple. Still.
I normally see them with like moms, their kids play soccer, and it's like you gotta you buy these books to help out the soccer team, and it's good. It's a good discount
We've
book.
got a
Yeah.
company here in town that does it, and it's paid for itself. I mean, we have gotten some pretty good jobs off of it.
Heck
But
yeah.
once you get in a neighborhood with your truck and you get it lettered up,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll get the other calls.
Do y'all put flyers on doors and stuff?
We don't canvass neighborhoods.
Yeah.
What we do is we have these every door direct mail cards by the thousands,
Mm-hmm.
and if a weather event hits a certain area, my office manager, she'll get online on the Postal Service website, and she'll figure out, you know, based on an address, and the next day she'll take them to the post office that day. The next day they'll be in a mailbox.
Oh, that's awesome.
You
Yeah.
know, so she gets to pinpoint the area. You know, it may be 750 homes, or she may hit 3,000 homes.
It just depends on what's going on in the area.
Yeah, we have companies nationwide that contact us about it, but for some reason I just like to be able to do that myself because I'm familiar with the area. So if we see something online or we hear that 616 Elm Street has been hit in Huntsville, for example, with storm damage or whatever, we may ride through there. If we see a lot of houses, we'll shoot them a card.
Yeah. Times
I've
are
never-
tough. Hit us up.
yeah, I've never canvassed a neighborhood before. You know, I know the big guys do it. I just never had a warm feeling about that for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, when I get home in the evenings, the last thing I want is some guy ringing my doorbell.
Some invisible solicitor who's like,
I'm not crazy
that's
about
something on
that.
your door.
I'm not crazy about that.
Cool. All right, well, that wraps us this podcast for today. It's been very informative, and we really appreciate you coming on the show,
I appreciate
man.
you having me.
Heck yeah.
I really do.
It's been a good day. Yeah, Coltus Roofing and Construction. Hit them up, guys.
Yes.
Heck yeah. All right, my name is Lance Thomas, HVAC. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you to our President, Byron. That is episode 5, and we will see you on Talking Trades with Thomas next episode. Thanks, guys.